Okay, so this week is National Banned Book Week, and I'm having a discussion for my senior project about books that have been banned. And I guess we'll get started. Does anybody want to go first? Say which book they read?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Well, I've been read this book, but I'll just talk about it now. I read Go Ask Alice, and it's anonymous. And it was banned because of the drugs and it uses like that. And honestly, I don't think it should have been banned because I think kids in high school should know the effect it can have on you, and they should know. And it's also a really good book, so I really don't think it should have been banned.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go. I read Animal Farm by George Orwell, and it's basically about these animals that are on a farm and they don't like who's running the farm, so they overtake it and they create their own government. And I really don't think it should have been banned because it's a pretty good look into how governments are run and what makes them fall.
Read this book a long time ago. It's Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The book was banned because of the use of witchcraft, which, you know, not many Christian people don't really like the idea of that. And it's a really good book, though. I don't know why.
Is it just the one Harry Potter book, or is it all of them?
For some reason it was only that one.
Do you have any idea why it would be just one?
No, not really.
Does anyone have any questions about the Harry Potter?
So why do you think it was just the first one?
Probably because that was the one that initiated everything, and it started off the whole series, so basically that one will contribute to the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
I read quite a few books on this list.
You can name any ones that you want.
To Kill a Mockingbird, Mice and Men, Go Ask Alice, and Framed the Diary of a Young Girl. Yeah, those are the ones I read. And most of them, well, they were all banned on social grounds. Especially Go Ask Alice, which is personal to me. I think that it shouldn't have banned because the world is full of ignorant people, and we are spreading that ignorance by censorizing topics such as drug use and sexuality and sexual abuse. And I just think that if we read more books like this, we might be more knowledgeable on such issues and maybe be able to prevent it or help others who have endured it.
I read Go Ask Alice, and I was going to say everything she's going to say.
Okay, anything else?
I think it shouldn't be made either.
Okay.
Have any of you read To Kill a Mockingbird or Animal Farm or Mice and Men in your classes?
I've read To Kill a Mockingbird.
I didn't know it was banned.
Why do you think it was banned?
Actually, I had no idea, maybe because I really have no clue why would it be
I
banned.
personally think, I don't know for sure, I think it was because maybe they killed the brother. So maybe it was violence, and maybe it had something to do with him making fun of his illness or something like that. But the Go Ask Alice books really do help the people, because if you read that, you're going to know what's right and what's wrong.
That's an old book. It was written in the 60s, and we were teenagers, and we couldn't have it in the school library. They would not even think about putting a book like that in the school library then. Well, guess what? I mean, I love to read, so I read it, because I read everything. But all my friends who didn't like to read, oh, they read that book. I mean, there's nothing like telling people, especially kids, you can't do something to make them do it. So banning books kind of works against the people who want to ban them too, because when you tell somebody it's forbidden, that's kind of like an incentive to check it out.
Did any of you happen to read the books because they were banned, or did you read them just to read them?
Read them as like a class assignment.
Yeah.
Read them just to read them.
Whenever I read Go West Alice, I didn't even know it was banned. I just
Yeah,
read it
most of the
because
books on here, when I got the list, I didn't know if some of them were banned.
I had no clue, and I read it because I heard about it. Some of my friends told me about it, and I thought it really interested me, so I read it.
Well, personally, I did read Go Ask Alice because it was banned. Same with drinking.
I read it to educate myself on drug use because I have members in my family who have used drugs, and I wanted to be able to understand them. So I read books such as Go Ask Alice and others of that genre, so that I could sympathize and be less judgmental. 'Cause I think that books are a way to communicate.
I read Mice and Men.
Did it teach you anything?
I mean, it taught me not to make fun of people for their disabilities.
Why do you think it was banned though?
Cause the subject of it, the making fun of a retarded person, and like the killing and stuff was banned, I guess.
Do you think it should be banned? Or?
I mean, not really. It's got a moral to it. It's just got some bad stuff in it.
Okay, I have a question for y'all as librarians. Do you, do y'all have to, currently today, pull books off the shelf?
We have a policy that it's with our school board, that if somebody wants to make a challenge on a book, that they have to go through this procedure. So no one book can just be arbitrarily come into the library and be pulled without going through their steps. And the steps that the principal will form a committee. The person who's challenging this book, who would like this book pulled, has to fill out this paperwork, has to read this book, and has a time limit in which to get back to the principal and to the committee. And then the committee will also have read the book, and then they will discuss this and decide whether or not this book needs to be banned. And it's back to the principal. He will act as the committee has voted to. So we do have a policy in place to prevent someone from coming and saying, I want Harry Potter off your shelves.
So have y'all, you said you have taken books off the shelf.
We have not. We have
You
never.
Right.
We have never had a challenge to pull a book from the shelf in my 18 years as librarian here in
So-
St. Bernard Parish.
Like, an example, 50 Shades of Grey. If that comes to school, y'all can have that one too.
Well, what we do, we try to place our orders for books that will support the curriculum. 50 Shades of Grey will not support our curriculum today, and it could in a few years or 10 years down the line, we don't know. But our books here support the curriculum.
And we also have books that support student interests, but we sort of choose our battles because,
So y'all pick all
when
the books that come in?
we do, we use a lot of, we use literary guides, that rate books and stuff, but we don't say, we're not getting books that have a bad word in them, or, we try to get books that are good literature. And, we all know the components of good literature, written by a worthwhile author and great characters and setting and plot and all the conventions that go with good literature. And you can't just knock something out just because the language might offend someone.
And then like Coral said earlier, that, she read Go Ask Alice because of what's going on and what has been in with her family, and that can follow through our health curriculum with drugs. So not only does it fit the curriculum, but a byproduct is that someone has experienced something through there. Anything to add?
We got them reading the picture in the line.
Okay.
I would just because the person and everything.
I read that one too over the summer, and I noticed it had prostitution in it, and maybe that. But does the prostitution thing fit the curriculum?
Does it fit the curriculum? Not that I know of, but it's been an award-winning book, and it's been in the English for a long time. Teachers have been reading this. Students, I mean, when I was young as a kid, that, you know, we had to read that book. So I think some books are accepted so much easier, I think, into the schools to be used as a teaching element.
Right. What did you read?
The Last Alice. I just read it like 2 days ago.
And what do you think about the book? Like the overall moral?
Well, first off, I really liked it, and it kind of showed me that. Well, it kind of shows you that this stuff really happened. Like, you know, you always hear about it, but it's like it's a first-hand experience, and it kind of puts it into perspective.
So has it taught you anything?
Well, yeah, that's what it told me. It kind of told me that, you know, it happens. Yeah. It could be happening around you.
So has all the books that everyone's read, has that taught y'all anything?
Absolutely.
Does anybody feel that a book that has been banned hasn't taught you anything?
No.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions?
I mean, I don't know if you discussed this already, but can I ask why you chose this as your senior project?
Because I really I'm a big reader and I wanted to be a writer at one point. And I got into it one night, I don't know why, and I just wanted to know why someone would want to take the knowledge away from a student, and why younger people wouldn't have the same rights as older people, because an older person could probably just go and get the book, whereas a younger person can't get it from the library back then. So I wanted to know why anyone would want to take that away from someone who needs the education.
And as librarians, we support not banning books, because if Go X Alice would offend person A, it may not offend person B. But if it's pulled from the shelf, poor person B will never have that book to read. So if if you do not enjoy this book, well, then you just put it back on the shelf. If it's not to your cup of tea or your liking, put it back on the shelf. But you have a right to read any book that you choose. And if someone wants to stop that right, we believe that's not fair.
And if anybody else is interested in researching more about it, I just grabbed a handful of books out of our teacher professional section on banned books and censorship. There's more in our regular collection. There's many articles on it. And our library catalog has everything included that we own. So we encourage you to research